want to make sure that before we leave this place today, that I just get your opinion on as we move forward and start, really breaking down the draft.
Cool. Anything else you want to get into today? Anything else you got on the
no,
old bird? Okay.
We 27 days away from well, not 27 days away. We're actually 30 days away from Pacquiao Mayweather.
May
so
2nd.
we'll talk about that, coming up. So, a lot of, I hate that I wasn't on the show with you yesterday, man, because, dude, like, for real, the whole Chris Paul thing, man, like, oh, my God. Like,
yeah, announcement to be made right now. There's an announcement to be made. From here on out, Steph Curry will not be called Steph Curry on this show by me. He's going to be called the Human Mixtape. As an ode and as a what do you call it when you pay homage to a guy?
Yeah.
What's the word?
Yeah, homage. Yeah, when you pay homage to somebody, yeah.
To Dominique Wilkins, the Human Highlight film. Yeah, this dude is the Human Mixtape. That's it. I don't even like yesterday, Rob. I couldn't even say anything about him. Like it's ridiculous. It's totally unadulterated ridiculousness. I don't even understand what's happening. Like, I'm looking at Chris Paul like, dude, you're the best on ball. The sabermetrics say you're the best on ball defender in the league, and that happened to you. Mm-hmm. That right there happened to you.
That was so awesome. God. Dude, Steph Curry has given us a great season in NBA basketball. Like, and not just him, but James Harden went off again. Then Chris Paul turned around and went off last night. Don't
forget Boogie.
These guys are really. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Boogie had 20, 20, and 10. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, these dudes are really giving us some good basketball. Anthony Davis had another good game last night. I mean, it's just like we are really seeing some good NBA, and I know it's at the end, but that just gives me hope for these upcoming playoffs. That we'll see the same thing, because a lot of these guys that, like I just mentioned, a lot of these guys that end up in the playoffs, and of course, like I said, it's just Russell Westbrook is kind of amazing. The things that he continues to do. We getting great basketball right now. I'm impressed.
While we there, like I was talking about earlier, while we're on NBA stuff, man, the Atlanta Hawks, they took the L last time out, didn't they? Oh yeah, they got it pushed in too, didn't they? Yeah, they got it pushed in Detroit.
Yeah, because they did that man substitution. I don't really. I mean, they're not really playing for anything at this point.
Yeah, they got to be healthy, man. The biggest thing for them now is get healthy, be healthy going into the playoffs. Full regalia. Everyone be on the court and available to play. Everyone that you need. And I talked about yesterday when you weren't here, Rob. I talked about Blake Griffin crying about the crowd. The home court advantage not really being there like he thinks they were. And I was like, I kind of just had this thought, like, really and truly, you're the Atlanta Hawks of the West. You hadn't been good long enough for your fans to actually know what to do with you right now.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Win some games, advance in the playoffs, and then, they'll catch on. They'll catch on to what needs to be done and how to do it. But if that's what you're waiting on, all right, we'll see you with another first-round exit, homie. As far as the Atlanta Hawks go, we talk about advancing past the playoffs, and I made mention to it a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, that their litmus test is going to happen after this regular season stuff is over. Like, for all the fans of the Hawks who love to clamor about national respect and the way people talk about the fandom here, including myself. I do it all the time, too, and I say here because if you don't know, we're broadcasting out of Metro Atlanta. They haven't advanced past the first round since 2011. That is, by my math, 4 years now. This will be the fourth year. I think they have a great chance of doing it this year. But again, fair or unfair, and I'm saying again because I've said this before, it may come down to an issue of style points with them, especially in the first round when you're playing an inferior team. And I don't know how easy it's going to be because of what's happening at that eighth position. Like, all these teams are fighting right now to get in, so they're in playoff mode now, essentially. Meanwhile, the Hawks are ramping it down, then they're going to have to ramp it back up when the playoffs start. So there's no doubt in my mind they're going to win the first series. But if a bum ass team like Brooklyn or the Celtics take these dudes to 7 games, yeah, everybody's going to be like, "Yep, told you." Even though they advance, people are still going to be like, "Look at that. Look at that."
Well, the thing about a team like Brooklyn is while they are 34-40, like they do have some. I mean, they got some guys on the squad. You know what I'm saying? And it could turn into one of the things where they could possibly push the last 7 games.
Don't say that because if Jeff Teague don't eat Darren Williams alive, there's a problem. You understand? And that whole Joe Johnson thing, yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good on that whole thing. And Lopez, I'm good on that too. Like, yeah, this thing needs to go 5 games max, if you ask me. If the Hawks do what they do and do it well, I'm giving Brooklyn 5 freaking games, and then they go home.
Well, that sounds good to me too.
Yeah, the other opinion is I don't even believe Brooklyn wants to be there. Now that Celtics team,
you don't think they want to be in the playoffs?
Nah.
Well, the thing about it is that Hawks fans shouldn't want Brooklyn in the playoffs either, because remember I was telling you the other day that if Brooklyn doesn't make the playoffs, Atlanta ends up with the top 10 lottery pick because of the Joe Johnson deal.
Right, they can switch picks with them.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If you're an Atlanta fan, you don't even want Brooklyn in the playoffs because last year because they sent their 2014 pick to Boston in the KG and Paul Pierce deal, then Atlanta wasn't able to be on the receiving end of the 2014 pick that they were supposed to receive because they should have gotten the 14 and the 15. So you really don't want Brooklyn in these playoffs or that whole Joe Johnson thing and the pieces that you picked up through the trade. Like all of that goes out of the window at that point.
This is the Sports Kings podcast. I'm Big Mike. The other voice you're hearing is Rob Calloway. Find us on Spreaker.com and tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sports Kings Live. It's the handle for all 3 of them. Moving along with this whole Atlanta Hawks situation, like I said, this article, and let me make sure I give you guys the name of it. The Hawks are still the Eastern Conference favorites. A guy named Jake Weiner.
Jake Weiner.
Yeah, I'm such a child. I know, but I didn't realize his name until I just saw it, so I didn't have time to say it earlier and be like, all right, get it out of my system, laugh, and then be done with it. Speaking of laughing, dude, this morning, dude, I almost threw up this morning laughing so hard at Tom Joyner. And we're going to get back to this Hawks thing, but it just hit my mind. The funniest thing I've heard all week.
Yeah, explain this to me, because you text me, but what exactly did he say?
By the way, shout out to Marvin Gaye and the Gaye family. It's Marvin Gaye's birthday today. It would have been his birthday today had he lived or been alive. So they got through playing the Marvin Gaye song, right? And Tom says, that's Marvin Gaye. As we collect money for all the gay children to go out and find Easter outfits.
Like, what?
It's so inappropriate, but it's so funny.
So inappropriate.
I'm like, this is so awesome, dude.
Raising money for gay kids? Like, what?
To buy Easter outfits. So ridiculous.
What?
Yeah, dude, it was hilarious.
That's weird.
Oh, I was like, yeah, Tom, you got down for that one. He totally got
That's
down.
Weird.
He was like, yeah, screw Marvin Gaye. I got something funny to say, and yeah, I believe in that. Like humor trumps all types of commemorative things. Like if it's Martin Luther King Day and I got something funny to say about King, whatever, just be mad. I want to laugh.
Right.
First and foremost,
right.
I just want to laugh. They actually this article is kind of a Cavs Hawks preview, but in the article it talks about the things that the Hawks do well and the things the Hawks don't do well. And by the way, we're talking about the Hawks being considered the favorites, not the Cavs in the East. They talk about the Hawks' ability to limit fast break points. The Hawks only allow 11.3 fast break points per game. That's 4th in the NBA. That's perfect playoff basketball because everyone knows the game slows down, the rotations get shorter. Every possession counts more because you don't get those easy transition baskets as much in the playoffs. So the Hawks are right on par with what they need to be. They get back in transition. So you're not getting dunks, and especially now it's not going to really hurt them as far as home court advantage, but like especially going to Brooklyn or whatever, dudes ain't going to be running down the court, throwing alley hoops, getting their crowd all into it and all that foolishness. Nor in Boston if they happen to make it, or Charlotte if they happen to be the 8th seed, or whoever finally struggles into this 8th seed. It ain't happening because the Hawks don't do it. They don't give it up. They talk about. I was talking on air about. I did. I mentioned this on air because I was actually watching it happen. The Kyle Korver effect on this basketball team offensively. It's undeniable just by the eye test, but the numbers also bear it out. This article points out that in the 2,193 minutes Korver has played, the Hawks have outscored opponents by 9.9 points per 100 possessions. The best figure on the team out of anybody. Millsap, Teague, Horford, any of those dudes. Kyle makes the biggest difference in points per 100 possessions. If he's on the bench or he's not playing, that percentage goes down, or that stat goes down to 2.6 points per 100 possessions. That's a difference of, if I do the math, about 7.3 points. Yeah, that's a big deal. Kyle Korver,
he makes a difference.
Yes,
now.
And
he makes a difference.
Just watch him. Just watch what happens, man. When Kyle Korver is moving without the basketball, how many times other dudes get layups?
Well, the other thing is he helps with that spacing too, man. You know what I'm saying? If everybody's cutting to the basket, he pops out, and a lot of times he's standing out there wide open because the ball is going to the paint. So the defense is collapsing. They kick the ball out right there to that right side of the 3-point line, his sweet spot. They kick it right there, and it's pretty much automatic. Especially when he's healthy. Since this All-Star break and this nose break thing, it hasn't been as automatic. But for the majority of the season, you catch it right down the right side of that 3-point line. It's draws, as they used to say.
And the thing they mentioned, too, about Kyle is that that whole nose injury may have been a blessing in disguise. That, coupled with the fact that Bud he's sporadically arresting the guys. Get Kyle his legs back, because he shot a lot of three-pointers this year. Shooting the ball, if most people don't understand, it takes more legs than anything. You got to have your legs under you. So hopefully, with the rest, with the nose healing, he can get rid of the mask and get back to the Kyle, the consistent Kyle that the people of Atlanta know him to be, and they can make a nice little run, man. Speaking of the Cavs, I mentioned this yesterday, but the new development in the whole LeBron situation and him calling the plays and him overstepping Coach Black, they basically just said, so, both of them. They was like, and?
Right.
We're winning.
Right.
So, and, that's cool. What I said yesterday was that I just hope LeBron understands what's happening now. That all this weight, he's putting it on himself. Now, there are other people for it to be distributed to, but he's not letting that happen. He's taking on a de facto GM role as soon as he got there. I got to have Kevin Love. Get these two young punks out of here. Don't need them. All right. Now Kevin Love's back is broken, and he's miserable. He doesn't fit in. So, LeBron, you kind of got to go to your fifth final in a row to make all that better because of what the young man is doing. The young man, Andrew Wiggins, has found himself doing in Minnesota right now. Speaking of young guys, Nerlens effing Noel, dude. If anyone hadn't been paying attention because everyone's talking about Andrew Wiggins, look at Nerlens Noel's march. Unprecedented. That young man is coming into his own. So once again, shout out to Coach Cal. One and done. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, but look, real quick, going back to the Cavs real quick. This David Blatt thing. Do you think he's one and done? And the reason I ask is because if they don't win the championship, it's one of those situations where I feel like if they don't win the championship, they're going to look at him, right? And then, with the speculation of guys like Coach Calipari possibly